Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review HBK, not the showstopper, the Hart-Break Killer.
Written and directed by Sean Donohue from Gator Blade Films, starring Aid the Chosen One, Lynn Caputo, Anthony Wayne, and Lexi Balestrieri. This movie's about Robert, a strange, lonely man who's just been informed that his girlfriend is a porn star. He's broken up about this whole situation and he's trying to find someone new to love. But in his quest, he has to consult with his inner demons to try and get his confidence up. So what do we like?
Aid the Chosen One is by far the greatest in facial expressions. This movie had all the close-ups on his face. Like, it wasn't annoying, it wasn't awkward, it was very entertaining, and he just killed it. I absolutely loved his role.
I would say that it was fucking awkward, but that's the role of Robert. Robert is an awkward dude.
I wanted to thank you for dropping by the other night. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye before you left in the morning.
And you'll know that by a date scene that you see in this. Jesus.
But he's got sweet dance moves, though.
I wouldn't put it past him. Aid the Chosen One. Stage presence. He's got a date presence, too. Aid the Chosen One, if you're not familiar, he was on YouTube for a long time doing movie reviews and just talking about stuff, and most notably, ripping into other movie reviewers. And he plays that exact same role, or basically like an exaggeration of himself as the inner demon. And those conversations were so good because you can see the polar opposite personalities just battling.
Come on, man, a goddamn psychiatrist? Can you even afford that shit? Fuck!
Obviously, Robert just needed to shave his head, take off the glasses, and be a little more gangster, and he would get the ladies, I bet. But yes, kudos to Aid the Chosen One. Definitely his best role to date.
I'm not having sex with that thing. Oh, I understand. I'll turn around.
And I think this might be Sean Donohue's best film to date, to be honest. I haven't seen all of them, but from what we've saw, you kind of have like an understanding when you get into a Gator Blade film, there's gonna be lots of nudity, there's gonna be lots of killing, and Bob Glazier dicks. We got swerved on this one.
No Bob Glazier dicks, no buttholes.
I thought it was coming. He was patting that leg real hard.
And he started this movie off like exactly how you would expect, with full frontal nudity. We're like, oh yeah, this is a Sean Donohue movie.
It's like, hey, there's sushi.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about this.
And yeah, it took a different direction, but a good direction. I actually enjoyed the story, and I thought he did a good job with the pacing of it, because it had me intrigued. I want to know what Robert was going to do. What is actually going on inside his mind? And I think Sean Donohue did a great job creating these characters and creating a story to keep you engaged.
Yeah, from going between the inner demons, Robert just by himself trying to figure things out, and then him and Lynn Caputo, who is his psychiatrist, like between these like different stages of his life, as well as with his coworkers, you can really see like why Robert would be struggling at points. But then at others you think like, wait a second, Robert, get your shit together and suck those titties. Cinematography was actually way better than previous films. A lot more in focus, things weren't as shaky, having a lot of different shots where you have something defocused in the foreground, playing with depth, or shooting Robert's reflection as opposed to Robert himself. A lot of close-up angles to really intensify the anxiety that Robert's feeling and the frustration at times. I think it was just really well done.
Aid the Chosen One is pretty much playing two characters, and they did a good job filming him in both roles, and I liked the layout of like the dark room. It made you believe that Robert was actually inside himself. Like he was actually in a place that a lot of people, I'm sure, have been in their life.
Are you suggesting that the inside of me is just a big ass trash bag? You son of a bitch, John.
You got a couple red lights all over.
You're right. Alexa, lights red. And it's basically my apartment.
Screw you, man! I don't have to listen to this!
I also enjoyed our supporting cast. I thought everyone did a good job in this film. I was really surprised at Bob Glazier's role. Like, the one thing that throws us off is usually he's just like banging someone or getting blowjobs. And in this film, he played like the nice grandpa.
If you know the cast and the crew, then you're like, what?
It shows their range.
It's probably more enjoyable for them to do something that's different as well. Because I think a lot of people do expect that certain aspects from these actors. And for them to be able to try something different, I think that's cool.
You're no longer typecasted.
If I don't see Bob's dick in the next one, I'm gonna be pissed. Now, what didn't we like? The biggest thing that's worth mentioning is this is not a slasher movie. I think everybody is going to assume that it is, and it is not. And because this is so different from Sean Donohue's stuff, I think a lot of people will pick it up expecting something else.
It's not that you may not like it, it's just something you wouldn't expect from Gator Blade Films, but by no means is it a bad thing, which makes it an odd dislike.
Right, yeah. But it has to be noted because for a long period of time we were watching this movie like, okay, is this when he snaps? Is this when it's gonna happen? And that's not what you're really going to get. The ending is cool, but it's not what you would expect. And that's probably exactly why this movie even exists, because it is something completely different. Unlike John, I didn't love Eight the Chosen One's faces. They were overly comical for a somewhat serious movie. I think that just kind of made it a little bit more comedic.
The whole like crying and sex thing, that was like a little overdone because just the way he would interact with his coworkers, his peers, and just the ladies, you can feel for his character, you can feel the struggles, and they just cranked it up.
Well, in general, the pacing was pretty decent. There is a scene that is way too long, which is a Rorschach inkblot test. Like, we kind of figure it out after like 2 or 3 flashcards, and they do it for like 10.
First thing that comes to your mind.
I don't know, maybe a tomato,
Is that really what you see?
I guess.
This film is only like an hour and 10 minutes, and to have a scene like that take up about 5 to 10 minutes, you can cut that down and then give us more of Robert in a different situation. There are other things that you could do that could enhance Robert's character to make him seem even more awkward or struggling more with his like desires to be loved and not having that reciprocation from the people around him. Even the interactions between Robert and like his bald self.
You are seriously letting me the fuck down, Bob. I just wanted to be a nice guy. Nice? Let's face it, Roberto. Nice guys finish last, and you know that.
You can add a few more of those in there, but actually, like, that's the kind of intensity that should be cranking up. And they were doing a good job with that, and I feel there should have just been that snapping point.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Having watched the Death Court series and Cannibal Claws, I really think this is a step in the right direction to kind of change things. We came in with expectations. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But fortunately, we did, because a lot of good came out of this project. We saw a lot more range from his usual cast. The cinematography was better, the editing was tighter, the music was really good, and just the idea and the story was way deeper than what we've seen before, where it's generally just a killer going and killing somebody, which is always fun, and I love those kind of movies, and I hope we see a Death Court 4. But this was a nice film to kind of break the habit, and I think it's easily his best to date. Well, it's paced well, there was a small pacing issue, and I wasn't quite loving all of Robert's intense facial reactions. It did add some comedy, but I don't think this movie needed that kind of comedy. But this is still a solid indie film, so I'm gonna give this 3.5 8 The Chosen vinegar strokes out of 5.
I really respect Sean Donohue's take on this film because he did something that we're not used to. I really enjoyed all our characters, and I was very impressed with 8 the Chosen One. He did a good job both acting and delivering his lines and with his facial expressions. I will, however, say that I would have liked to see more with Robert's interaction with other people, because then it would have made his character grow even more. Other than that, I enjoyed the ending and I enjoyed this film. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 4 premium parking spots out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.